Alex had lost his school fees on his way back from school. He had kept the money carefully in his pocket, but somehow it slipped out without him knowing. The sun burned hot above him. As he walked, tears rolled down his cheeks. He cried so hard that people passing by turned to look, but no one stopped. By the roadside, a woman sat in her small stall selling peppers and onions. Her name was Madame Rose. She looked up, and when she saw the boy crying, her heart filled with pity. Quickly she stood. "My child, why are you crying like this?" she asked softly. Alex wiped his face with the back of his hand and sniffled. "Mama, I lost my school fees. I don't know how. I've searched everywhere, but I can't find it." The woman stepped closer. "Calm down, my son. Tell me what happened. By the way, my name is Madame Rose." Alex's voice trembled as he spoke. "I live with my father and my stepmother. My father lost his job a few weeks ago. Now it's my stepmother who feeds us. She gave me this money to pay my school fees today. She told me not to return home without the receipt. If I do, she'll beat me. Maybe she'll even send my father out of the house." Madame Rose's heart broke. She didn't have much herself, just a poor widow, struggling each day to survive by selling small baskets of pepper. What she made that day was all she had, but when she saw Alex's face, she didn't hesitate. "How much is the school fee?" she asked softly. $20, Alex replied, his voice shaking. Rose bent down and reached into the old tin box under her stall. She pulled out a small bundle of notes, the money she had made that day. Slowly, she placed it in Alex's hand. "Here, take it. Go and pay your school fees," she said with a weak smile. Alex's eyes widened in shock. "Mama, are you sure?" "Yes, my child," she nodded. "It's all I have left, but it's okay. Be serious in school. Don't follow bad friends. One day, you will be great." Alex clutched the money tightly. He wiped away his tears. "Thank you, Mama. I promise I'll make you proud. When I become rich, I will never forget you. I'll come back, and I'll help you." Rose smiled gently, placing her hand on his head as she whispered a prayer. Then she returned to her stall, still with no food for herself, but with peace in her heart. Alex ran quickly toward the school before the gates closed. At the entrance, he looked back once and whispered, "God bless that woman." That evening, Alex returned home. He looked tired, but calmer now. His school fees had been paid, and the receipt was safe in his pocket. His father sat on a small bench, looking worried and stressed, as always. "Alex, welcome," his father said. "Did you pay the school fees?" Alex nodded slowly. "Yes, Daddy, I did." Relief washed over his father's face as he stood. "Good, that's one less problem. Let me see the receipt." Alex brought it out and handed it to him. Then he lowered his head. "Daddy, I have to tell you something." His father frowned. "What is it?" Alex swallowed hard. "I lost the money. On my way to school today." His father's face changed immediately. "What? You did what?" "I lost it, Daddy. I don't know how. I kept it in my pocket. I searched everywhere. I cried." Alex explained quickly. His father's voice rose in anger. "Alex, how could you be so careless? Do you know what that money means to this house? Your stepmother will starve us again. She already warned me. She'll say I'm useless. She may even send us out." Tears filled Alex's eyes again. "I'm sorry, Daddy. I didn't mean to. I was so scared. I even thought about not coming home." His father turned away, breathing heavily. But then Alex spoke quietly. "Someone helped me." His father looked back sharply. "Who?" Alex smiled through his tears. "A woman. She sells pepper by the roadside. She saw me crying and asked what was wrong. I told her everything, and she gave me $20. She said it was her last money, but she didn't mind. She told me to be serious in school and not to follow bad friends." His father blinked, confused. "Wait, she gave you money just like that?" Alex nodded. "Yes, Daddy. She was kind. She said her name is Madame Rose." For a moment the room was silent. Then his father sat down slowly. "God bless that woman," he whispered. "A stranger helped my son when even we had nothing left. Alex, we must go and thank her. This kind of kindness is rare." Alex smiled softly. "Yes, Daddy. I want to thank her too. I promised her I won't forget her. When I become rich, I will look for her, and I will help her." His father placed a hand on his back. "I believe you, son. God will help you." But while Alex and his father were planning to visit Madame Rose, something terrible was already happening on her side. That morning, Rose sat quietly in her little pepper stall by the roadside. She had only a few baskets left. Business was slow. Her stomach was empty. But her heart was still at peace, because she had helped a crying boy the day before. Suddenly she heard loud noises. People were shouting. Big trucks and men in uniforms came marching down the road. One of them held a megaphone. "All roadside stalls must be removed. This is government land. You were warned before." Before she could even pack her things, they began tearing down her stall. Her baskets of pepper scattered on the ground. Her old umbrella was thrown aside. She begged them, her voice breaking, "Please, wait. Let me pack my goods." But no one listened. They pushed and broke her wooden stall completely. Rose stood there crying, clutching one small basket of peppers she managed to save. Her sweat mixed with her tears as she watched everything she owned destroyed in minutes. "Where will I sell now?" she cried softly. "How will I feed my daughter?" The other women beside her were crying too. But it was too late. The trucks had already moved on to the next street. Rose lifted her small basket and began walking home under the hot sun. Her slippers were dusty. Her heart was heavy. All she could think about was how to tell her daughter, Nova, the bad news. But as she turned the corner to their house, she froze. Nova was already standing outside, crying. Their bags and few belongings were thrown out by the gate. The landlord, a tall man with a big stomach, stood there with a wicked smile. "Madame Rose," he said coldly, "I told you, I warned you. You have not paid rent for 1 full year. I'm tired of your excuses. You and your daughter must leave now." Rose's mouth opened, but no words came out. She dropped her basket and rushed to her daughter. "Nova, are you okay?" Nova nodded weakly, wiping her tears. "Mama, they threw everything outside. I begged them to wait for you, but they refused." Rose turned desperately to the landlord. "Please just give me a little more time. I just lost my stall today. I don't even know where to go. Please." But the man turned away. "I have new tenants coming. I don't run charity. Go and sleep in the street if you like." And with that, he shut the gate. Rose and Nova sat beside their scattered bags. The sun was setting. People passed by. Some looked, some whispered, but nobody helped. Rose pulled her daughter close and whispered, her voice trembling, "I'm sorry, my child. I tried. I really tried." Nova rested her head on her mother's shoulder. "I know, Mama. You're the best mother in the world. God will help us." Rose looked up at the sky, her lips moving softly. "God, I don't regret helping that boy. If I had to choose again, I'd still give him my last money. I just need a miracle." That night, they slept outside on the cold ground beside their bags. No food, no roof, no light. But even then, Rose held on to faith in her heart. The next morning, Rose and her daughter woke early. They hadn't slept well. The hard ground made their bodies stiff, and their stomachs were empty. Rose sat quietly for a moment. Then she turned to Nova, rubbing her back gently. "My daughter," she said softly, "we cannot stay like this. Let's go to the next city. My old friend, Sister Lucy, lives there." "Maybe she can help us," Nova whispered. She trusted her mother even in hard times. Rose used the little money she had left from her broken pepper stall to buy 2 bus tickets. It wasn't much, just enough to take them to the nearby city. They sat at the back of the old crowded bus, holding their bags tightly. The journey was only about an hour, but it felt much longer. Rose kept looking out of the window, praying silently in her heart. When they finally arrived, they walked slowly to the street where Sister Lucy lived. It had been a long time since Rose last saw her, but she still remembered the house. She knocked gently on the gate, her heart pounding with hope, praying her friend was still there. A few seconds later, the gate creaked open. There stood Sister Lucy, staring in surprise. "Rose," she gasped, looking closely. "What happened? Why do you look like this?" Tears rolled down Rose's cheeks as she hugged her friend tightly. "Sister, we lost everything. Government people demolished my stall yesterday, and when I got home, my landlord had thrown us out. We slept outside with our bags." Sister Lucy covered her mouth in shock, then quickly pulled them inside. "Come in, my sister, come in quickly." She gave them water to drink and sat them down. Shaking her head, Lucy said softly, "Rose, you are lucky you came at the right time. My husband and I are relocating this weekend. I was about to hand over this house key to the landlord today so I could collect our 1-year advance rent." Rose frowned in confusion. "What do you mean?" "I mean the house is already paid for," Lucy explained, smiling. "You can stay here, just take over the place. I will tell the landlord to change the name on the rent. You don't have to pay anything yet." Rose's hands flew to her mouth. "Ah, Sister Lucy, you want to give me your house, just like that?" "Yes, Rose, you're my friend, and you need help. God must have sent you here at the right time." Rose dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you. Thank you. God will bless you, my sister. He will reward you richly. You don't know what this means to me. And to my daughter." "Wait," Lucy added. "I'm not done. I also have some small money I saved for emergencies. You can use it to start another pepper stall. It should be enough for that. And for Nova's school fees, too." Rose cried even more as she held her friend's hands. "You don't know what you've done for me. Just yesterday, I had nothing. Now I have a roof. And a new start. God will bless you, Sister Lucy. He will reward you richly. You will never lack." Lucy hugged her tightly. "That's what friends are for. You once helped me when I was in need. Now it's my turn." Nova smiled for the first time in days. "Thank you, Auntie," she said sweetly. "I'll study hard and make you proud." 3 days later, Alex reminded his father about their promise. "Daddy, we said we would thank her. Let's go today." His father nodded. "Yes, my son. Let's go. A person like that deserves our thanks." They took a bus to the street where Alex had met the kind woman, but when they got there, they were shocked. The whole row of roadside stalls was gone. Everything had been demolished. The land was empty. Only broken wood, scattered baskets, and torn umbrellas remained. It was silent. There was no one around to ask. Alex's heart sank. "Daddy, this is where she sat. This is her stall. What happened?" His father looked around sadly. "It must be the government demolition we heard about. They have sent them all away. But how do we find her now?" Alex turned left and right, hoping to see someone who knew her, but nobody was there. Sadly, they turned and walked back home. When they stepped into the compound, Alex's stepmother was already standing at the door, her hands on her waist. "Where are both of you coming from?" she asked sharply. Alex's father answered calmly. "We went to look for the woman who helped Alex pay his school fees." "What woman?" she asked, frowning. Alex's father explained. "Alex lost his school fees. A poor woman who sells peppers helped him. She gave him her last money. We went to thank her, but we couldn't find her." The woman burst into laughter. "Ah, what a nice story. And you expect me to believe that you left this house since morning just to thank a woman. Are you not ashamed?" Alex stepped forward. "But it's true, Ma. She really helped me." "Shut up, boy," she shouted. "Your father is cheating on me with that woman. That's why he left here this morning. Look at you both. Like father, like son." Alex's father was shocked. "How can you say that? I'm telling you the truth. She helped your own stepson. Why are you thinking like this? Leave my house," she screamed. "I'm tired of taking care of 2 foolish people. You useless man. You and your liar of a son should go and live with that pepper seller." Before they could say anything else, she stormed inside and began throwing their clothes and bags onto the ground. "Out! Out of my house!" They stood there, confused, ashamed, and speechless. Alex's father slowly picked up their bags. He didn't want to argue. With heavy hearts, they walked down the street, looking for somewhere to rest. Finally, they found a small store with a wooden bench outside and sat down. The shopkeeper, a kind man, allowed them to stay there. As they sat quietly, Alex's father lifted his eyes and noticed a small shop nearby. It sold games and tickets for lucky draws. He stood up. "Alex, wait here. Let me try something." "Where are you going, Daddy?" Alex asked. "Just a small game. I'll be back," he replied. He walked into the shop. In his pocket, he had only a little money, the very last note he had been saving for their dinner, but something inside whispered, "Try it." He bought a lottery ticket, scribbled down the numbers, and walked out. He didn't expect anything. It was just a way to forget their troubles for a few minutes. 2 days later, Alex's father returned to the shop, walking slowly, just to check the results. The shop owner looked at the paper and suddenly shouted, "Wait, sir, this is the winning number." Alex's father frowned in confusion. "What do you mean?" "You've won. You won the jackpot," the man exclaimed, jumping with excitement. "You've won $150,000. Alex's father stood frozen. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. 150 what? $150,000, the shop owner repeated. "You're a rich man now." His knees went weak. He sat on the nearest chair, holding his head with both hands. Tears began to fall. "God, is this really happening to me?" he cried. They were tears of shock, tears of pain, tears of joy. Everything had turned around in a moment. No more hunger, no more shame, no more sleeping outside. 16 years passed. Alex was no longer the small boy who once cried on the roadside because he had lost his school fees. He had grown into a tall, handsome young man. His voice was deep. His steps were bold. His heart full of dreams. He was now the only son of a millionaire. That day, his father won $150,000. Everything changed. They moved into a big house. They started a business, and from there, the money kept growing. Alex didn't waste the opportunity. He worked hard, went to school, and studied business. After university, he started his own company. It didn't take long before his company became one of the fastest growing in the country. He became known for his smart ideas, humble attitude, and kind heart. But there was one thing Alex never forgot: the woman who once helped him. Every year, on the same date, he would sit quietly in his office and remember the day she gave him her last money. He searched for her many times, but no one knew where she had gone after her stall was demolished. Still, Alex never gave up hope. One day he prayed, "I will find her. I must find her." Meanwhile, in a small town far away, Rose and her daughter Nova were still struggling. Life had not been easy. The money Sister Lucy gave them helped for some time, but eventually they had to start over again and again. They lived in a small room at the back of an old compound. Rose still sold peppers by the roadside. Her back ached now. Her eyes were not as sharp as before, but she kept pushing. Nova had grown into a beautiful young woman, respectful, hard-working, and full of dreams. She had graduated from university a year ago, but finding a job was difficult. She applied to many companies, attended several interviews, but nothing came through. So she stayed home, sometimes helping her mother in the pepper business. Each morning, Nova wore an old apron, sat beside her mother, and carefully arranged the peppers on a wooden table. "Fresh peppers here! Buy your peppers!" she would shout, hoping to make a few sales before the sun grew too hot. Some days they sold enough to eat. Other days they returned home with tears and leftover peppers. "Mama, don't worry," Nova would say. "I believe our story will change one day." Rose would smile weakly and nod. "I know, my daughter. God is watching." But inside, she worried deeply. She wished she could give Nova a better life, a soft bed, a good job, a happy future. One evening, as the sun was going down and they were packing their goods, Rose sat down quietly. She turned to her daughter and asked softly, "Nova, do you still remember that little boy I helped so many years ago?" Nova smiled warmly. "Yes, Mama. You've told me that story many times." She paused, her eyes thoughtful. "I wonder where he is now." Rose's voice grew tender. "I just hope he's doing well." The next morning was bright and calm. It was a Friday, and Rose had gone to the market to buy more peppers. Nova stayed behind, watching over their small table by the roadside. She sat there, fanning herself with a piece of cardboard, waiting patiently for customers. Suddenly, a car parked a few steps away. A tall, well-dressed man stepped out. He looked gentle and carried himself like someone important. Walking over to Nova's table, he smiled politely. "Good afternoon, young lady," he greeted. "Good afternoon, sir," Nova replied with a warm smile. "I just came from a friend's daughter's wedding in this area," the man explained. "I want to buy some pepper to cook stew when I get home." Nova began selecting the freshest peppers for him, placing them carefully in a bag. But something inside her pushed her to ask a question. "Sir, sorry to ask," she said shyly. "Please don't be offended, but Why would a man like you go home to cook stew by yourself? Don't you have a wife or children?" The man chuckled softly. "No offense at all. That's a good question." He looked down for a moment before answering slowly. "I don't have a wife. My only son is always out of the country on business, so he's hardly around. I live alone. I used to have a cook, but she relocated to another state with her family. So, now, I cook for myself." Nova nodded with understanding. "Oh, I see. I understand now, sir." He studied her quietly, then said, "You know, I've been searching for someone who is not only a good cook, but also honest and trustworthy. I'm tired of eating restaurant food." He smiled again and extended his hand. "By the way, my name is Mr. Collins. I'm a businessman." Nova shook his hand politely. "Nice to meet you, sir. My name is Nova." Mr. Collins looked at her closely. "What are you doing selling peppers here? You look like someone with more education." Nova gave a weak smile. "Yes, sir. I graduated from university last year. I've been looking for a job since then, but nothing yet. So I help my mother sell peppers to support us." Mr. Collins raised his eyebrows. What if I offer you a job?" Nova looked up quickly. "A job, sir?" "Yes." He nodded. "I already like your spirit. You speak well. You seem respectful. Come and work for me as my cook. I'll pay you a very good salary. That is, if you're truly a good cook." Nova's eyes widened in shock. "Are you serious, sir?" "Very serious," he replied with a smile. "I've been looking for someone just like you." Nova's heart began to race. "Sir, I'm a very good cook. My mother can tell you. I cook most of the meals in our house. I even bake sometimes." Mr. Collins laughed lightly. "That's good. I believe you then." But Nova's face fell a little. "Sir, the only problem is, we don't live in the same city." Mr. Collins didn't seem bothered. "That's not a problem. You can come and live in my house. I have more than enough space. I'll give you your own room, and you can go home twice a month to see your mother." Nova couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her heart was full of joy. A job, a place to stay, and a good salary. It all felt like a dream. "Sir, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. But I must go home and tell my mother first. I must get her blessing." "Of course," Mr. Collins said kindly. He brought out his phone and gave her his number. "Call me tomorrow and let me know your decision. If you're not interested, I'll understand and look for someone else." Nova took the number with trembling hands. "Thank you, sir. Thank you." He smiled, picked up his peppers, and walked back to his car. As the car drove away, Nova stood frozen. Then she sat down slowly, her eyes filling with tears. But this time, not from sadness, from hope. She looked down at the number in her hand and whispered, "Mama, maybe our story is finally about to change." That evening, Rose returned from the market. She looked tired and worn out. She saw Nova sitting on a wooden chair, smiling to herself. Rose dropped her basket and frowned. "Nova, what's making you smile like that? You're laughing like someone who just won the lottery." Nova stood up quickly, excitement glowing in her eyes. "Mama, welcome. I have good news for you." Rose raised an eyebrow. Go on, I'm listening." Nova smiled brightly. "A man came to the store today while you were away. He wanted to buy pepper, and we started talking. His name is Mr. Collins. He said he's a businessman, and he lives in the next city." Rose's eyes narrowed slightly. "Okay, go on." "He told me he doesn't have a wife, and his son is always out of the country. He said he needs someone to cook for him, because his cook relocated." "Mama, he offered me a job." Rose's eyes widened. "A job? Just like that? From buying pepper to offering you a job?" "Yes, Mama," Nova replied, her smile growing. "He said he likes me, that I speak well, and that I look responsible. He said I can live in his house, and he will pay me well." Rose's smile disappeared. She sat up straight. "Live in his house? Nova, don't you know the world is dangerous? What if he's a ritualist? I don't trust some of these millionaires. You think because he wore fine clothes and drove a big car that he is normal?" Nova tried to stay calm. "Mama, please don't think like that." "Don't mama me," Rose snapped. "I am your mother. Do you know how many girls have gone missing because of offers like this? What if he's a kidnapper? What if he locks you inside one big house and we never see you again? Nova gently held her mother's hand. Mama, I understand your fear, but he didn't force me. He gave me his number and said I should call him if I'm interested. He didn't even collect my number. He said I can take my time. Rose looked into her daughter's eyes. Nova, are you sure about this? My spirit is not settled. Nova nodded. I will ask questions when I get to his neighborhood. I'll find out from the people who live there. If anything looks strange, I won't enter the house. Rose was quiet. She looked away, then sighed deeply. You know you are all I have in this world. If anything happens to you, I'm finished. Nova leaned on her shoulder. Mama, nothing will happen to me, I promise. This might be the breakthrough we've been praying for. I don't want to keep sitting here waiting for a job that may never come. Slowly, Rose began to relax. She wiped a tear from her eye and whispered, I just want you to be safe. I will be, Mama, Nova replied, hugging her tightly. And when I start working, I'll send you money. You will stop selling pepper under the sun. You'll rest. That's my promise. Rose kissed her forehead. Okay, my daughter. If your heart is at peace with it, then go. But please, be careful. Very, very careful. Nova smiled and nodded. Thank you, Mama. I will call Mr. Collins today. As she walked into the room to find her phone, Rose looked up at the sky and prayed silently. Lord, if this man is truly sent by you, let it work out. But if he means evil, let Nova never step into that house. The next morning, Nova stood outside with her phone in hand. She took a deep breath and dialed the number Mr. Collins had given her. Her heart beat fast as it rang. Hello. A deep, calm voice answered. Good morning, sir. This is Nova, she said softly, a small smile on her lips. I spoke to my mother, and she has agreed. Oh, that's wonderful news, Mr. Collins said happily. Thank you for calling. I'll send you the directions now. Just take a bus to my area, and I'll have someone waiting at the bus stop to bring you in. Thank you, sir. I'll be on my way shortly. After the call, Nova rushed inside. Mama, I'm going now. Rose stood at the door, her eyes full of love and worry. She hugged her daughter tightly. God will go with you. Don't forget everything I told you. Shine your eyes, and don't let your guard down. I will, Mama, I promise. Nova packed her small bag, hugged her mother again, and left for the bus park. The ride took almost an hour, but she was excited. When she got to the bus stop, a man wearing a neat shirt waved at her. Are you Miss Nova? Yes, she replied. Follow me, he said with a smile. My boss is waiting. They entered a clean car and drove through a quiet, beautiful neighborhood. When they reached Mr. Collins's compound, Nova's eyes widened. The house was large and beautiful. Flowers lined the walkway, and the gate was painted bright white. It was like a house from a movie. Mr. Collins came out to welcome her. You're welcome, Nova. Come in, come in. This will be your new home. Nova smiled. Thank you, sir. This place is beautiful. He led her inside and showed her a clean, simple room with a bed, a wardrobe, and even a small mirror. You'll stay here. The kitchen is just down the hallway. Don't worry, I'll treat you like family. Just be yourself and cook good food, he said, laughing. Nova started work that same day. She cleaned the kitchen, made jollof rice and fried chicken, and soon became the heart of the house. Every corner smelled of her food. Mr. Collins smiled every time he ate, always saying, This is the best thing that has happened to me since my cook left. 2 weeks later, something unexpected happened. Mr. Collins's only son, Alex, returned from his trip abroad. He came back without telling anyone. The gate opened quietly, and his car rolled in. He stepped out, suitcase in hand, and walked into the house. The sweet aroma of egusi soup filled the air as he entered the kitchen. There she was, a young woman standing by the stove, stirring the pot with calm grace. Her face glowed softly, her eyes focused on the food. Alex froze for a moment, then cleared his throat. Good afternoon. Nova turned quickly, startled. Oh, good afternoon, sir. She smiled shyly. I'm Alex. You must be the new cook? Yes, sir. My name is Nova. Nice to meet you, Alex said with a warm smile. Your food smells amazing. "Thank you, sir," she replied softly. He dropped his bag in the living room, then found his father reading the newspaper. "Dad," Alex said, dropping into the sofa beside him. "Alex," Mr. Collins smiled. "Welcome back. You came earlier than expected. How was your trip?" "Good," Alex said casually, then leaned closer and whispered, "But Dad, you never told me the new cook you hired was this beautiful." "Damn, she's hot." Mr. Collins lowered his newspaper and gave him a stern look. "Hey, remove your eyes from that girl. She came here to cook, not to be chased around." Alex laughed lightly. "I'm just saying the truth. She's not only beautiful, she smells like home-cooked stew." His father shook his head. "Just behave yourself." I will, Alex grinned. But as he leaned back, his mind refused to let go of the girl in the kitchen, the girl who cooked like a queen and smiled like peace. Days passed. Life in Mr. Collins's house became smoother for Nova. She was getting used to the kitchen, the cleaning, the big compound filled with flowers. But there was one thing she hadn't gotten used to yet: Alex. Since his return, he always found a reason to be near the kitchen, pretending to be hungry, asking unnecessary questions. "Nova, is the rice ready?" he'd ask, even though she had just served him 10 minutes ago. Or sometimes he'd walk in with a playful grin. "Nova, teach me how to boil an egg. I want to learn cooking." Nova would laugh softly. "Sir, you don't need to learn how to boil an egg. You already have me." "Exactly," Alex would reply, still smiling. "That's why I like coming here." He made her laugh every single day. He helped her carry bags from the market. He even surprised her with a small apron, her name written across it in gold letters. Yet, Alex never crossed the line. He didn't flirt openly or make her uncomfortable. He treated her with respect, like a queen in the kitchen. And slowly, Nova's heart began to change. She started waiting to hear his footsteps every morning. She cooked with extra care, hoping he'd be the first to taste her food. Sometimes she caught herself checking her reflection in a spoon, adjusting her hair, smiling at the thought of his voice. One evening, as the sun painted the kitchen gold, Mr. Collins walked in and found Nova humming softly while chopping onions. "You look happy," he said warmly. Nova blushed. "I'm just grateful, sir." Mr. Collins smiled. "Good. You're a blessing to this house." That weekend, he gave her permission to visit her mother. "Go and see your mama. I'm sure she misses you." Nova was overjoyed. She packed groceries and a gift she had bought with her very first salary, a wrapper and soft slippers. When she arrived home, her mother rushed out and embraced her tightly. "My daughter, you're looking so fresh. God has done it." "Mama, I missed you." Nova laughed. Inside, Rose served her hot yam porridge. They sat together, catching up. "Mama," Nova said softly, "I need to tell you something." Rose raised her brows. "What is it?" "There's a man." Nova's voice was shy. "He's Mr. Collins's son. Young, tall, handsome, respectful, funny, and Rose folded her arms. "And I think I'm falling in love with him." Rose's eyes widened. "You're falling in love?" Nova nodded, blushing. "Yes, Mama, I haven't told him. I don't even know if he feels the same. But there's something about him, the way he looks at me, the way he makes me laugh." Rose smiled slowly. "Love is a beautiful thing, my daughter, but be careful. Don't rush. Look well." "I'm not rushing, Mama. It's just my heart feels soft every time I see him. I can't explain it." Her mother chuckled gently. "That's how love begins." Rose took her hand. "Then pray, my daughter. If it is truly from God, it will happen. No one can stop what God has planned." Nova hugged her mother tightly, her heart brimming with hope, like a flower just beginning to bloom. Far away, back at the big house, Alex lay in his room staring at the ceiling. A soft smile tugged at his lips as he whispered to himself, "This girl, Nova, there's something special about her. I think I'm in love with her." Later that evening, Alex sat quietly in the garden behind the house. The flowers swayed gently in the breeze, yet his heart felt heavier than ever. He had never felt this way before, not in all his travels, not in business meetings, not even at the fancy parties he once attended. Nova, her name had taken over his thoughts, his heart, and his dreams. Finally, unable to hold it in any longer, he walked into the living room where his father sat, sipping tea and reading a newspaper. "Dad," Alex said, standing tall but nervous. Mr. Collins looked up. "Alex, you look serious. Is everything all right?" Alex took a deep breath. "Dad, I'm in love with Nova." Mr. Collins slowly placed the teacup down, a knowing smile on his face. "I knew it." "You knew?" Alex asked, surprised. His father chuckled softly. "Of course. I see the way you look at her, the way you follow her into the kitchen, like a lost puppy." Alex laughed lightly, then nodded. "Yes, Dad, I love her, and I want to marry her. As soon as possible. No time to waste." Mr. Collins rose from his chair, placing a firm hand on his son's shoulder. "My son, you have chosen well. That girl is special, respectful, well brought up, hard-working, intelligent, and beautiful. Who wouldn't want a daughter-in-law like her?" Relief washed over Alex as he smiled. "Thank you, Dad, but," his voice lowered, "I don't know how to tell her. I fear she might reject me." Mr. Collins laughed again. "Alex, you afraid of rejection?" "I'm serious, Dad," Alex said earnestly. "She's not like the other girls I've known. She's real, simple, pure. I don't want to scare her or make her uncomfortable." His father nodded wisely. "If you truly love her, then speak your mind. Speak from your heart. Even if she says no, at least you'll know. But who knows, Alex? She might just feel the same way." Alex lowered his gaze. "I hope so, Dad. I really hope so." The next day, Nova returned from visiting her mother. She looked radiant, like someone wrapped in love and joy. As she entered the house, Alex hurried to help with her bag. "Welcome back," he said warmly. "Thank you, sir," she replied politely. "No," Alex smiled, shaking his head. "No more, sir. Just call me Alex." She giggled softly. "Okay, Alex." Taking a deep breath, he asked, "Nova, can we talk? Please. Just 5 minutes." Her heart fluttered, but she nodded. "Of course." He led her gently into the small garden at the back. The flowers bloomed brightly, the birds sang softly, and the evening sky glowed with a soft orange hue. Turning to her, Alex looked straight into her eyes. His voice trembled slightly. "Nova, I know this might sound funny, surprising, maybe even foolish, but I can't keep it inside any longer. I am deeply in love with you." Nova froze, her heart pounding. "From the very first day I saw you in the kitchen, the way you moved, the way you smiled, the way you cared, I couldn't stop thinking about you. You've stolen my heart, and I don't want it back." Nova gasped softly. "I don't waste time," Alex continued. "Life is short, and I know what I want. I want you, Nova. I want to marry you. Please, don't say no. Marry me." For a moment, silence filled the garden. Nova stood frozen. Then slowly she stepped closer, her eyes shimmering with emotion. "Alex," she whispered, "from the first day I saw you, I fell for you too. But I couldn't say it." "Why?" Alex asked in disbelief. She smiled softly. "Because I'm a woman, and it's the man's duty to say, 'I love you' first, not the woman." Alex laughed, tears of joy forming in his eyes. "So, all this while, you loved me too?" Nova nodded. "Yes, I just didn't know if you felt the same." He gently held her hands. "I do. With all my heart. Will you marry me, Nova?" Her eyes sparkled with joy as she smiled. "Yes, Alex, I will marry you." He pulled her into a warm embrace. The flowers around them seemed to dance, the soft wind blowing like a gentle applause for their love. Inside the house, Mr. Collins watched from the window and smiled. "This," he whispered, "is what happens when destiny speaks." And far away, Rose knelt in her small room praying, "Lord, wherever my daughter is right now, please, let her be happy." She had no idea her prayer had already been answered. A few days later, Alex turned to Nova. "I want to meet your mother. I want to thank her for raising such a wonderful woman, and I want to look her in the eyes and tell her I want to marry her daughter." Nova smiled sweetly. "She'll be happy to meet you too." That Saturday morning, they dressed simply but neatly. Alex tried to appear calm, but his heart was racing. On the way, Nova squeezed his hand. "Are you nervous?" Alex chuckled softly. I've never met someone's mother as a fiancé before. She giggled. Relax, she'll love you. Just be yourself. When they arrived at her small family house, Alex looked around. The place was quiet, humble, peaceful. They knocked gently on the wooden door. Nova pushed it open, and together they stepped inside. The living room was simple, with a brown sofa and an air that smelled like home, warm, familiar, comforting. Is your mother around? Alex asked gently, his voice carrying both respect and hope. I think she stepped out to buy something, Nova replied softly, but she'll be back soon. A few minutes later, the front door creaked open. Rose walked in slowly, carrying a black nylon bag. Her face looked tired, but it brightened the moment she saw her daughter. My daughter. You didn't tell me you were coming today, she said, surprised. Nova stood up quickly and hugged her. Mama, I wanted to surprise you. I brought someone with me. Rose turned to look at Alex. He stood respectfully, bowing slightly. Good afternoon, Ma, he said politely. Good afternoon, my son, Rose replied, her eyes scanning him carefully. Then she smiled. You didn't tell me your visitor was this fine, she teased with a laugh. But as she turned away, Alex kept staring at her. Something inside him stirred. A memory, a voice, a face. He stepped closer, his voice soft and a little shaky. Ma, please, your name. Is it Rose? Rose looked confused. Yes, I am Rose. Do we know each other? Alex smiled sadly. You don't remember me, do you? She shook her head slowly. No, I'm sorry. Many years ago, Alex began, his voice heavy with emotion. I was just a small boy. I had lost my school fees and was crying by the roadside. You were selling pepper. I told you everything, how my stepmother would beat me if I didn't pay. And you listened. You gave me $20, your last money. And you told me to be serious in school. Rose gasped, her hand over her mouth. You prayed for me. You told me never to forget you. You said your name was Rose, and I never did. Her lips parted in shock. Wait, are you that small boy? Alex nodded. Yes, Ma. I am the boy you helped. He dropped to his knees before her. You didn't just help me, Ma. You gave me hope. You saved me from shame and pain. That one act of kindness, it changed my life. I became something because of you. Tears filled Rose's eyes. She sat down slowly, overwhelmed. God, you mean that boy was you? Yes, Alex said gently, and I've been searching for you for years. I never knew that the woman I fell in love with is your daughter. Nova's eyes filled with tears too. She rubbed her mother's back softly. Mama, I didn't know either. Not until now. Rose's hands trembled as she looked at Alex. See how you've grown. See how God lifted you. Alex held her hands firmly. Now, Mama, I want to bless you the same way you blessed me. I want to marry your daughter. I want to take care of both of you. This is not just love. This is destiny. Rose broke down in tears. God, you are too faithful. She turned to her daughter. Nova, you didn't tell me you were in love with an angel. Nova laughed through her tears. I didn't even know he was the boy you helped. I just loved him for who he is. Rose smiled, still weeping softly. You're welcome, my son. You were once a boy who needed help, and now you've returned as a man with blessings. I thank God for this moment. They hugged tightly in that small room. Hearts were healed, promises remembered, and a beautiful future was born. The very next morning, Alex woke up with one thing on his mind: honor. He didn't just want to marry Nova. He wanted to honor the woman who had changed his life with a single act of kindness. Later that day, he called Nova and her mother outside to sit in front of their small house. A car pulled up slowly. 4 men stepped out carrying large bags of rice, cartons of food, cooking oil, new pots, and 2 lovely wrappers wrapped in shiny gold paper. What's going on? Rose asked, her voice trembling with surprise. Alex stood before her, smiling. This is just the beginning, Mama. One of the men brought a clean brown envelope and handed it to Rose. She opened it slowly. Her hands began to shake. It was a check, her name boldly written on it, for $50,000 US. Rose covered her mouth, tears rushing down her face. "Alex, what is this?" "This is for you, Mama," he said softly. "For everything you lost, for all the years you suffered, for the rent you couldn't pay, for your pepper stall that was destroyed, for your last $20 that you gave to a crying boy without asking for anything in return. You deserve this, and more." Rose burst into tears, unable to speak, but Alex wasn't done. He reached into his pocket and brought out another small envelope. "Ma, there's one more thing." Rose opened it slowly. Inside was a set of shiny keys and house papers. "That is the key and the documents to your new house, Mama," Alex said, kneeling before her. "A 3-bedroom house right here in this town, fully furnished, already paid for, in your name. You will never pay rent again. Never." Rose dropped to her knees, weeping. God, you remembered me." Nova hugged her mother tightly. "Mama, this is your reward. God never forgot you." A few weeks later, Alex and Nova had a beautiful garden wedding. It was colorful, simple, but overflowing with love and meaning. Nova wore a flowing white dress. Alex stood proudly beside her, smiling from ear to ear. Mr. Collins looked at his son with pride, while Rose sat beside him, wearing her new wrapper and matching head tie. Her skin glowed, her heart was full, from a roadside pepper seller to a homeowner, to the mother of a bride. God had truly lifted her. As they danced, Alex leaned close to Nova and whispered, "I told you, I don't waste time." Nova smiled gently, "And I told you, I loved you from the very first day." Alex turned to look at Rose, who was laughing and dancing with joy. He smiled and whispered again, "She gave me her last. Now I have given her my best." A few months later, Nova gave birth to a healthy, bouncing baby boy. The house was filled with joy. Mr. Collins lifted the baby proudly, his face glowing with happiness. Rose, with tears of joy in her eyes, said softly, "My daughter, God has doubled your blessings." Alex wrapped his arms around Nova and whispered, "You have made me the happiest man alive." And together, they all lived happily ever after. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates. Thank you for watching, and stay blessed.